Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Food Podcast. This is Mario Hilario from NBC 10, and this is where you can come to hear all things food, the local food scene, the great restaurants and food establishments we have in our area, and the people behind them. We are right now at Burgundian at 55 Park Street in Attleboro, their new home, and we're going to get to that in just a minute, how they got here. But first, I'd like to introduce you to the founder, the owner, Shane Matlock. Shane, good to talk to you.
Mario, it's an honor to have you here and to be able to share all the stuff that we're doing here in Attleboro at our new home.
Let's talk a little bit about your background first before we talk about what you're doing here. I know your bio says that you were a barista in high school and you had dreams of getting into the food business, but you got a little sidetracked, right?
Yes, sidetracked is a very soft term, I think, with what happened. So in high school, as you said, I was a barista. It was just a job that I found seemed like a fun thing. I'm pretty extroverted. I like to talk, so it seemed like a good fit for me. And as I worked different nights, weekends. It was this kind of convergence of community. You know, everybody would come there. They were just every walk of life, every demographic seemed to sort of funnel through this community cafe. And later in life, I've really researched about pubs and cafes, in Vienna, and how it became they're this cultural epicenter. They go beyond what the product is. And so I fell in love with that cafe community culture. And I said, someday I'm going to start this. And of course, after 9/11, I joined the Army and was all over the world doing that. And so it took a while to get here, but it's pretty exciting to see this dream that I've had since I was 17, almost 40 now. Having this come to fruition is pretty exciting.
And I know the name Burgundian. Tell us the history behind that, because you kind of came up with that from your experience overseas, right?
Yes, exactly. When I was in the Army, I was able to be stationed on the border of France and Belgium for 3 years, and I really got into beer. In this food scene, I love to research. That's a big part of what goes into this. I love stories and I love research. And I really got into Belgian beer, and not just the hey, let's go drink beer concept, but I signed up for magazines, I bought books, I went to different tours. It was a really exciting time to just expand my knowledge base on Belgian beer. So I bought this book called The Great Beers of Belgium from this writer Michael Jackson, not the Michael Jackson we know. It's very bizarre, but he's an English guy who really wrote the all-encompassing book on Belgian beer. He did the same one for the U.S. as well, but it was called The Great Beers of Belgium, and in it he talked about this name Burgundian, and it goes back to the 100 Years' War, so 1400s, when Mary of Burgundy, the Dukes of Burgundy, reigned over Belgium and northern France. And there was so much money in that time, there was parties, eating and drinking, that the Belgians actually took that name Burgundian and created a lifestyle out of it. So in the book, the phrase was someone who loves food and drink in both quality and quantity. And Michael Jackson said this word should replace gourmand in the English dictionary because of how impactful and all the meaning and depth behind it. So I scrawled that name Burgundian down. 2009, I'm sitting in France. I scrawled that name down and said, someday I'm going to use this. I created a Twitter account at that point off of the Burgundian, and said someday this is going to be the name of the business that I create, and here we are, 11 years later.
That is great. So am I a Burgundian? I had no idea.
Oh, you are a Burgundian, absolutely, Mario. I think you're a really passionate Burgundian. You didn't even know the word, and that's why our tagline, all of our Instagram, our Facebook, our website is "We Are Burgundians," because I think for the most part, inside of all of us, there is a Burgundian, someone who loves to break bread with people. I think food and drink has the ability to break, to tear down barriers, to bring people together, and so I love that it has this sort of powerful experience beyond just the static eating and drinking of something, but it's you're communing with someone, you're connecting with someone or a group of people over food and drink, and I think that really is what makes Burgundian something special.
And it was when you were overseas where you encountered is it the Liège waffle? What is that?
Liège waffle, yes. So I remember, Mario, it was almost just over 2 years ago, Veterans Day. We were doing Operation Made in Cranston, and you came out and you had the waffle, and you were like, I can't believe this is this waffle exists. And that was the same when I first had a Liège waffle in France. It blew my mind. The Liège waffle is a yeasted, dough-risen waffle with pearl sugars that caramelize on the outside of it. It's not like any waffle that we have here, the typical batter waffle. It's a waffle from the town of Liège, Belgium, and it's got sweetness in it. It's got that caramelized pearl sugar. It holds up to different ingredients, so we throw, as you have seen, any and everything that we can on top of a waffle. But it's a next level waffle. It's absolutely delicious, and that's what we've been known for. We sort of started with that street food waffle in Belgium. If you go anywhere in Belgium, people eat these by hand. They walk around eating it. A lot of times they don't even have toppings. If they saw all the stuff that I put on it, they would be shocked and appalled.
I was going to say, is that insulting to them to put something on it?
Yes, it is. If I ever walked and said, hey, you should try this Liège waffle with a chorizo plantain hash, they would slap me, I think, and tell me to go. But, it's the American in us that we've got to just go crazy with everything. I mean, we have no, let's say, cultural bounds or expectations on these items, so we can just do whatever the hell we want, and here we are.
And you have a whole menu of different types and toppings for your Liège waffles. I see bacon de Belgio.
Yes, bacon de Belgio. It's the Belgian or the Italian word for Belgium. So this was inspired by an Italian dish and pizza that we loved, and it's ricotta, fig spread, bacon, and basil. And I think that was the first one you had, if I'm...
I believe it was, because I saw the word bacon and I said, I've got to try this. So.
Yes.
And when we met last time, you were in a food truck. You still have the truck?
Yes, we still have the food truck. It's a really great marketing opportunity for us, and it allows us to continue to get out and grow our brand, grow awareness of what products we have. We have actually on the food truck expanded a few items, so we don't have just our Belgian street food waffle, but we have a few other street food items as well. We have our Argentinian choripan, which is a chorizo sausage dog. You'll find very typical in a lot of places in Buenos Aires, especially after a football match. We have the pan de chicharrón, which is a Peruvian pork belly sandwich. We did our own spin on it, but that's very common. You'll see a lot of sort of street food and side restaurants in Lima.
Where'd you get the ideas for your menu? Seems very vast and varied, from waffles to all the other things you just mentioned. Where did you come up with all these ideas?
Yeah, a lot of it was from my travels. I'm just in about 40 countries. So when I lived in Europe, we traveled all over. My wife and two of my three daughters were born overseas, but we traveled, picked up the kids, and we went. And my wife and I both, we love to travel through food and drink. That's one thing we have very much in common is, all right, let's see a castle, stop for a drink. Let's go eat this thing and just kind of walk around. And so that street food culture really impacted us there. And then I worked for Colette Tours in Pawtucket for a few years, and I was in charge of planning all the tours in Latin America. And going down there and seeing a different aspect, Europe is very built up, great street food scene, but it's very, very unique, where the Latin America culture is very different. The ingredients are completely different. And yet it's that same commonality of the food brings people together, and food is a way for cultures to represent themselves. So as we got going with this restaurant, I said, let's take that exact same concept of street food and extrapolate that out. So the menu is very much inspired off of the street food that I've been able to try, to experience, and we wanted to just be able to allow people to sort of travel through visiting Burgundian, experience different parts of the world, different cultures through what we're doing here. It's very much a travel passionate company expressing itself through food and drink.
Obviously, with your truck, you can go to different events and festivals and things like that. What's that been like?
It's been great. I mean, the response is so unbelievable. Going to these events, it's absolute sheer madness. Food truck world is not for everybody. I can guarantee that. If you're thinking about starting a food truck, I would recommend working on one for a few months. It is, you don't get a break. Some of these events, you just go and go, but it is so unbelievable to see these people just so excited about your food, about what you're doing. And you kind of get wrapped up into the celebration of these different events. This weekend we're going to the German Fest in Walpole. It's every year they do the Christmas Fest, And so Santa comes, they have Glühwein, they have beers that they import from Germany. Half the people are in Lederhosen. They have arts and crafts, a bunch of food vendors, Oompa music just blaring everywhere, and thousands of people. And it's just this really, really incredible experience that I think people who work in a restaurant don't necessarily get to see. And I think that's one of the things why we're keeping the food truck, is because not just from the marketing aspect, but it's fun. I love to still go out on the truck, and we require everybody that comes and works for us to do at least one mobile event, just to see what is the backside of what Burgundian does. What's the different? How did we start? What are our origins, and how do we express ourselves outwardly to the community?
And you had a grand opening. Now you have an actual location, a stationary location here in downtown Attleboro, and you had a grand opening on Veterans Day. Tell us how you got to this point and how exciting it's been to have your own place.
Yeah, it's been really exciting. I've always wanted to have my own brick and mortar. We started. I actually looked for a storefront before I decided to pull back and bootstrap my operation as a pop-up. So, I worked at Hope and Main, just started with a table and the tent. We added the food truck, and I always was keeping my eye. I like I said, with food, I love to research and do that. I do that the same with properties, and where's a potential space? I'm always just checking on LoopNet or whatever else it is to see what's available. So I found this location in Attleboro. I live here. My general manager lives here. We're very involved in the community, and it just seemed to come at the right spot. So we negotiated for a few months. Unfortunately, we did sign our lease and buy all the equipment from the previous business 5 days before the shutdown orders went into place in 2020. So it's been quite a wild ride to get to this point. It's all of the build out cost we anticipated coming from our food truck revenue. We had weddings, we had 3 days in Boston. We were going to be everywhere, all over New England, and it all got wiped away. So we had to, after spending a couple days, feeling sorry for ourselves, we had to sort of adapt and pivot over the pandemic, and we were able to do that and still finish out this build out and open our doors. And it's been a huge just response from the community, from not just our local Attleboro community, but all over Rhode Island. People who have driven from over an hour away because they've had our food truck up in Brookline or up in Westerly, and they wanted to come and see what we're doing here. So it's been quite the whirlwind, and it's a great opportunity for me as well, because this brick and mortar allows me to express what the Burgundian is a lot more than the truck can. The truck, or let's say the waffle, took on more of a life of its own than I anticipated. I never anticipated the waffle would just be like what Burgundian is, and so we've been able to expand it back to what the lifestyle and the concept is, and bring people together. We have a specialty coffee program, we have a beer program that's coming in January. We've got baked goods, we've got waffles, we've got sandwiches, we've got street food noodle bowls from the Philippines. It's just this whole encompassing concept that I've always anticipated it to be.
Great. You actually have 3 different, I see a breakfast menu, lunch menu, and dinner menu, so you've got the gamut, huh?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we're open Monday through Wednesday for breakfast and lunch, and then Thursday through Saturday right now we're open from early morning, so people can come in and get their coffee at 7 a.m. on their way to the commuter rail, all the way to dinner. We want to be people's second home here, so catch them on the way to the train, on the way to their commute, and then have them come in and have a great meal, have a beer, bring people in, and so yeah, it's a large menu, and I've got a really great team here that is helping me, that's caught the vision. We've got a great chef, we've got a great coffee manager. We're going to be hiring a bar manager as soon as we get our liquor license. But they've all caught that vision of what we're doing here, and it's really cool to see. I mean, we've hit 20 employees right now in the midst of a really tough hiring environment, and it's awesome that I have other people coming on board that also see the vision that I've worked and finessed over some years, and are just as excited to express this as I am.
I know some of your employees are veterans, and being a veteran yourself, I know you really like to give back to that community, don't you?
Absolutely. Community, again, we can't really be a community-centered place without giving back to our community. So we love to give back to our veterans. We've donated and worked with the Department of American Veterans, or Disabled American Veterans. We're involved with the VA as well, and we definitely like to bring in veterans and look to hire them. Like you said, we've got a couple on our staff right now, and it's really exciting to see. And they've been, obviously the veteran world has been a big part of my life, and so I want to make sure that we give back to that. And the same thing, I mean, just our community in general. We've been involved with the Feed It Forward program and the Hebron Food Pantry, and it's been exciting to finally get to the point where we can actually give back to the community that's been supporting us for so long.
So as we've been talking here, there's a couple of delicious-looking dishes that are sitting in front of me, and of course, I think it's time. I can't wait
anymore. Mario.
Describe first this to me. This looks like a waffle.
Yes. So this is our Liège waffle. It's called the Banana Churro con Caramel, and it is our for those longtime fans, as we used to call this, the Banana Churro Supreme, but we've kind of adapted our name. So I apologize for those that are like, why did you change it? But this is a Liège waffle dipped in cinnamon and sugar. We have bananas, whipped cream, and our salted caramel drizzled all over the top. It's our best-selling sweet waffle, and I know it's going to be a hit, Mario, for sure.
Well, I love salted caramel for sure, and I love anything sweet. So I'm going to try this. Now, it's funny because most people are used to seeing me on TV eating.
Yeah.
And they can see my expression, but I think they'll hopefully be able to tell
how
much I like this
verbal expression.
Oh my God.
Is that good?
That is so good. I love the salted caramel. That cream is so good too. Oh my gosh. You said this is your most popular?
This is our most popular sweet waffle. Yeah,
wow.
we have four staple sweet waffles, and this one is definitely our most popular.
What's in it again?
So it's just our Liège waffle, right? And it's already got that natural sweetness and caramelized sugar. So we toss that in cinnamon and sugar, and then we put a layer of bananas. We put whipped cream, and then we drizzle our salted caramel on top. So it's a very, Spanish, Argentinian inspired dish.
Oh my gosh. You make your own whipped cream, I assume.
We do.
It tastes very fresh and very good. Now the cinnamon and sugar really give it. Okay. I'm just digging in.
And one of the things I like to say about these waffles is, if you eat a waffle, right? This has been sitting here for a couple minutes. If you have a normal Belgian batter style waffle, if you have whipped cream, caramel, those things, that waffle's going to start breaking down, right? It starts getting soggy. Where this waffle, because it's a bready waffle, it's got that pearl sugar that it holds up to it, so it doesn't break down and get all disgusting and soggy.
Yeah, it's great. It really is holding up really well. Definitely. And what's this other dish we have here?
So this other dish, this is one of our new non-waffle items. It's called a Venezuelan cachapas. So in Venezuela and Colombia, you'll often find a savory dish called arepas. It's very corn-based driven. You stuff meat inside of them. It's sort of like a tortilla and a pita mixed together, for lack of a better metaphor. But this is their sweet corn griddle pancake, and so that's one of our gluten-free menu items in the morning. But it's almost like Johnny Cake and Huevos Rancheros came together for the Rhode Islanders out there. And we do the corn cake. We have a jalapeno lime crema. We've got a black bean salsa. We put an egg on it, fresh avocado, cotija cheese. It's a black bean corn salsa. It's fantastic.
This looks absolutely delicious. My gosh, I'm going to try this. Oh my God!
It's very. The goal is to move, not just have waffles. So if somebody wants something fresh, a little bit healthier, in the morning, that's what this is.
I was going to say, this looks and tastes very, very healthy.
Yeah.
And almost takes away the guilt of eating the sweet waffle.
Exactly.
And customers must appreciate the variety. You really have a great variety of different items.
They do. Yeah, they love that. They love that we have changed and added a lot of things. And I think what's been really special and honoring for us is people have given us a chance to add to the menu and play around with the menu. You know, they're essentially allowing, in a lot of people's minds, a waffle company to add a completely new component to our menu and to our identity. And they've welcomed it with open arms. People have come in and tried so many of our items, and they come back each time to try something new. And you know, that's one of the things we're doing, as well as every month we're highlighting different parts of the world, whether it's themed off of a region of the world, a type of food, or a holiday. So December is going to be very much like Christmas around the world type of foods.
You got to try another bite.
Is that good?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
What's the Johnny Cake thing again?
Yeah, it's a cachapas.
Okay.
Cachapas. So it's again, you know, Johnny Cake is that sort of cornmeal type of cake, and this is a griddled sweet corn batter, gluten free, but it just, the flavor I think is so great. I mean, yeah, my brother, I actually have not been to Venezuela, I've been to Colombia, but my brother lived in Venezuela back in the day for about half a year and brought these back, and we were hooked. You know, my mom still makes them every once in a while, and it's great. And I even know if you visit La Arepa in Pawtucket, Lincoln border, they do some cachapas as well.
This is so good. And I love all these ingredients. I love avocado,
Right?
fresh corn, the beans, all of it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Shane Matlock, thank you so much.
You're welcome. No, it's really exciting to have you here and be able to share, you know, my you know, expression of love through this restaurant, and it means a lot that people are also excited about it.
Yeah. Congratulations. Good luck in your new spot, and I encourage everyone to come down to Burgundian at 55 Park Street in Attleboro. It will make you go, mmm.